What's up guys, so we're in another video today. So on this video I'm going to be showcasing a mod called True Darkness Elementary. Now this mod adds a dimension called Yteria. Now Yteria is this dimension right over here, and it's a really cool looking mod, so I wanted to showcase this. And this mod has only about 30,000 downloads, but I think it is really cool looking. Now anyway, as you can see right over here, this dimension is supposed to be kind of like a dark, kind of corrupt themed dimension right over here. I wouldn't say this is necessarily Skulk, although I do see some Skulk aspects to it, that I don't think the dimension itself is themed around Skulk. This mod adds, well, a new dimension, a whole bunch of new mobs, a lot of new blocks, some new biomes, both in the overworld and this new dimension. I'll get to the biomes in a second, but it adds that, and it adds some music discs as well, as you can see. So it adds quite a bit of stuff here, and it adds some new armor sets and some new tools and weapons. So it adds a whole bunch of new stuff and some new wood types, and it adds a whole bunch of cool blocks that have cool like properties to them. So I'll be showcasing all of that in this video. So yeah, now I'm somewhat new to this mod as I've only first downloaded it today, but honestly, after checking it out, it looks really cool. The first thing that we're going to get into is, I think, the biomes. Now the biomes look really cool. So for example, this is the swamp wasteland, and it's this really like, well, it's not really a swamp. It doesn't look very swampy to me, but it's very kind of deserty looking. So this is kind of like a desert looking biome to me. And then this red river. Oh yeah, I got an achievement right over here. I got Around the World, explore all Yteria biomes. And so I haven't been in this one yet. So this one is called Retro Land, which this one is a forest themed biome, and I think it's supposed to be kind of like a retro themed dimension right over here. So it looks a little bit pixely. I'm not sure if this is intentional right over here, but it's very pixely looking. So it got a pretty interesting looking aesthetic right over here. So this kind of reminds me of the Crimson and Warped forests in the Nether dimension. It reminds me of that a little bit. Wait, what's this? Oh, and then you have a fake box. Interesting. But the way the trees look, and well, obviously the generation as well, kind of reminds me of those biomes a bit, except that it's a little bit different. Like for example, I just noticed like this is a 3 thick tree right over here, so that's pretty interesting right over here. And then there is also some other biomes, and so this biome right over here is called the Rupid Place right over here, and it has a really cool looking purple atmosphere to it, which I think that looks really cool. And you can find, so these are the blocks that make up the land right over here. So these are the corrupt blocks. So this is actually a bit different from the regular Skulk. So in this mod, it adds some corrupted Skulk. So you have some corrupted Skulks and a catalyst, and then you have ancient Skulk as well. And then you actually have a Skulk apple, and then you also have some new mobs as well, such as the Soul Steel Warrior. So this is the Soul Steel Warrior, and oh, that was a horrible idea, and I could have died very badly. And then you also have interesting things like this. And so this is called the Corrupted Human. Now this is not a mob. Although this is not a mob, what you can do is, if you do this, eventually you can break that open and turn it into a mob. And so I think what it's supposed to be, like the lore here, is it's supposed to be kind of like asleep or something, I'm guessing. And then if you like punch it enough, then it will like wake up. So this is the Corrupted Knight right over here, and it has some really cool stuff. Like it has this really cool looking shield actually. So let's get rid of that. And it also has a really cool looking sword. So I kind of like how this stuff looks. So this is called the Darkness Spruce Shield. This looks really interesting, bro. Oh my god, bro, this shield looks awesome. I mean, it looks a bit different from that one. Like, yeah, it's a bit different looking, but it looks pretty awesome to me. Like, honestly, I think the textures, not all of them, but I think a lot of them are pretty good. This right over here is the Corrupted Hand, which is another mob, and I'm gonna guess this is a interesting with how it... Yeah, this is a bit interesting. So this is the corrupted hand right over here. And, well, maybe I don't have to worry about that, but I definitely have to worry about that, though. So, yeah, so those are some of the mobs, and then the block, like the stone that makes up this dimension is called swamp stone. So swamp stone, so you have some swamp cobblestone right over here, and then you have some swamp polished. I think this is supposed to be polished, or... And then I want to show you the other two biomes. Right, okay, so this is the next biome right over here, which this is the mine biome right over here. So this is another kind of forest kind of biome, and this time it gives you the glow logs. So this is a glow log, and then you have some really interesting looking logs right over here. So does this glow? I don't think it does. Yeah, but like this is very interesting right over here. So once again, this dimension somewhat reminds me of the Nether with some of these biomes right over here. And then you can also find a mine shaft in this dimension. You can find mine shafts as well in this dimension, which is really interesting. And then you have these mobs right over here, and these are called raced runners. So you have this, and then what is next? So the next one we have is the swamps biome, which is somewhere over here. One second. Right over here is the swamps biome, and so you have these interesting... Oh yeah, and then you have some kind of particle effects as well. So this is the plow. This kind of looks like a flower to me. That's interesting. So this is kind of like a flower mob. So that's kind of cool. And so this one right over here, this one does look like a swamp to me to some degree. So we got these interesting kind of like mushrooms right over here. And then you also have a like a village looking structure, or I think this is just a house. But then you have these kind of cool looking wait a minute. Huh, this is a trapdoor. Anyway, and then you have these interesting looking chests that are kind of small, like the space in them is small, but like the design of them is pretty interesting to me. And then I think that's it for the biomes here, or at the least the ones in Yteria. So I think I'm gonna move on to something else. Okay, so we're back now. Now, I want to show you the mobs right over here. Now we're in the overworld, and so this mod adds 15 new mobs right over here. So I'm going to show you all of them. So the first one we have is the Gloomer Craftsman. So this one looks pretty interesting right over here. So it's almost like a villager almost, except that it's kind of like Skulk. And it has some kind of interesting mushroom thing on its head. And then it's carrying this kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but this kind of axe. I forgot what those kinds of axes are called. But anyway, it's holding that, so it kind of looks interesting. And then this is the Gloomer Warrior, which is the same thing. I think the Gloomers are a species right over here. I think those are kind of like a species of mobs within this mod right over here. That's kind of interesting. And then you have the Gloomer Elder, and it's one with like a long beard right over here. And then this is a glow bug. Interesting. And then it kind of got this weird looking thing around it. It kind of looks interesting. And then this is the miner right over here, and it's this kind of interesting looking skeleton. So is there... yes, so there is a skeleton inside. It's just that something around its head, but it's a interesting looking skeleton. A skeleton that mines. So it got its own pickaxe, and it also has a lantern right over here. And then this is the flow, which we already went over. This is the corrupted knight. We already went over that. The corrupted human, which I don't think I went over. But it's this kind of like semi-human, semi-kind of skeleton-looking creature right over here. As you can see, you can see its skeleton, but it kind of has... it's not entirely a skeleton. Like, I can kind of see some kind of skin right over here on the arms and the legs and the head. But anyway, it's kind of interesting. And so, wait, yeah, corrupted human, alright? And then this is the corrupted mage. So this is a mage right over here. So I think this is its wand right over. So I think that's what it is. And so then we have the next set of mobs right over here. So you have the Soul Steel Warrior. Oh, and it has this... that looks really interesting right over here, though. Sword it has. And then we already went over that one, which it looks really interesting. Like, the design of this mob is really interesting and is pretty unique. Well, you can kind of tell it's basically like a large hand, Like when I first saw this, it reminded me of the Warden. And I want to check something. Alright, so this is its hitbox. So down here is its hitbox. So up here, it doesn't have a hitbox. You have to hit it from here. So I'm going to turn off F3 and B. And then this is the general. And it's, oh yeah, so this is the one we saw earlier. This is the Erdium zombie. Huh? And it's got this weird weapon with a, or maybe that, wait a minute. I don't think that's a weapon. I think that it's, oh, I think that is its, wait, is its arm kind of like a head? I can't tell if it's holding a head or if a head is a part of its arm. I'm not sure. But anyway, so this is the Waste Runner. And very interesting. It's a skeleton once again. And then the final one, the Iridium Golem. Ooh, okay, yeah, this design also looks kind of cool. Like, I think the design with this one also looks pretty cool, to be honest. And then I just want to point out the generation. Like, this is the spawn right over here. So I know this is unrelated to the mod, but honestly, I think the generation, like the spawn here, looks really cool. So if anyone's interested, this is the seed right over here. I'm not sure if this will work in vanilla Minecraft, but it probably should. But anyway, but there's also some new dimension, not new dimensions, sorry, new biomes in the overworld. So I'm gonna go to them now. Alright, so right over here is the lavender fields. And so it has lavender right over here. So this is actually a part of the mod right over here. So they add these interesting, wait a minute, add some new trees. So this is jungle, and then this is acacia. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, the way the leaves look, I couldn't tell those were acacia. That looks interesting. Honestly, I think the design for these trees also looks quite interesting. So they have added a new biome right over here, which is the lavender fields, which they also added another overworld biome called the golden birch forest, but I don't know how to find that one. Like, I couldn't find that one when I was doing the /locate command. So I'm not sure how you find that one, but they did add that to this mod right over here. So yeah, now anyway, there's not much else I want to show you. Now I'm not sure if I brought this up at the beginning of the video, but I'm not 100% sure how you go to the dimension. I'm pretty sure it involves a bed, and I think what you have to do, so if you go in a bed, it will then tell you the instructions for what to do. So it tells you like what to do next. Like, it tells you to go find some artifacts. So I think that's what how you get to the dimension, but I'm not 100% sure. So you unfortunately have to figure that out on your own, or maybe you can ask them on the Discord, and I'll leave their Discord down in the description, so if you want to get some help from their Discord server. And I'll also be leaving the mod down below, a link to the mod, so I'll also be doing that. Yeah, so this is the mod right over here, and honestly it's a really cool mod. So I'd highly recommend you give it a check. Like, you check it out right over here. We have some interesting blocks right over here. Like, we have some interesting glass blocks. Like, let's check this stuff out. So I want to check this out, for example. Interesting. And then, yeah, so this glass looks kind of interesting to me. Yeah, this is kind of cool. And then I just want to, yeah, that looks kind of cool. Yeah, yeah, that's so cool. Anyway, so yeah, this is just like the mod of True Darkness Elementary. Yeah, so I think that's how you say it. So that's what the mod is. So yeah, now anyway, I just wanted to show you this mod. Sorry if it was kind of all over the place, but once again, I'm sort of new to the mod, so a lot of this was new information here. So yeah, now anyway, that'll be it for the video today. Hope you enjoyed, and goodbye.